All right, welcome to the Carl Jackson Show, your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. I'm going to say this loud and clear. You guys know me. I think I'm a straight shooter. I love President Trump. I shoot straight, though. I think I call balls and strikes. And so I'm not a kiss butt, but I can tell you that this guy is going to go down as one of the best presidents. And this week, his trip to the Middle East, frankly, he should receive a Nobel Peace Prize, undoubtedly. If I were to tell you that a president of the United States had just signed a major deal with Saudi Arabia, a strategic economic partnership, if I was to tell you that the president was willing and dealing with Qatar and signed a $1.2 trillion deal with Qatar, if I was to tell you that the Middle East and Syria was destabilized, however, you have now a president in the Middle East, in Syria, that used to be part of Al Qaeda, that now wants to moderate and be accepted by his colleagues in the Gulf, in the Gulf region. And Trump was able to meet with this person and start working out a plan to moderate Syria, or any president for that matter. You would say, my goodness, that is absolutely impossible. But if someone could get that done, they deserve a Nobel Peace Prize. It's done. It's done. And on top of that, guys, let's recollect what happened earlier in the week with the trade war with China. Now, undoubtedly, America felt some pain with that trade war, and America may still feel a little pain because there's still a 30% tariff on the imports coming in from China, although we struck a deal. But that is that has been lowered, obviously, in a major way, given where we were at. So the tariff rate on the U.S. Actually will fall to 10%. The tariff rate on China will fall to 30%. So we just had this trade war with China, and that is extremely important. You guys may recall I had Stephen Mosier on, the author of The Bully of Asia, on just a week or two ago, and literally things were getting so bad in China. 10 million manufacturer workers that were out of work. Some were basically striking, not going into work, so on, et cetera. They were being absolutely crushed. Xi Jinping has to make sure that these people are kept happy. He doesn't want people to rise up. And with a lagging economy, with the way the real estate market is and their major poverty in China, this was hitting China hard. And then we go to the Middle East. Now you have the left that are stuck on stupid when it comes to this plane. And I understand. Listen, frankly, I'm a little frustrated with the plane story, with the jet story, simply because what we witnessed this week has been absolutely historic, not just the first 100 days. I'm going to go through some of these deals that we witnessed, guys, because, again, you're witnessing something historic. You're witnessing potentially peace in the Middle East. Will it sustain? I don't know. But is it worth giving it a shot? Yes, it is, because certainly what we've done in the past did not work. So I've got to go through this. But first, I want to play a video clip for you. If we could go to now, I don't remember the video clip. I believe it's cut number 51. All of the outrage, and I'll get into that, all of the outrage over this jet. Oh, Trump shouldn't accept this jet. Listen, guys, I don't want Trump to accept the jet because we're America. I want us to build our own jet. And I don't want the guy to be blown up in case the Qataris has done something nefarious to that plane. Having said that, I just heard something that makes complete and utter sense. And by the way, you may not have heard or may not have realized that the negotiations for this particular Qatari jet that is sitting in on a tarmac somewhere in Florida, negotiations for that jet actually began under the Biden administration. Cut number 51, por favor, Gabe.
The country of the United States take a 747, but here's what's interesting to me, what the media isn't telling you, what no one's talking to you about, is this same 747 has been in negotiations for a year. The Biden administration is the one that started these conversations. It didn't start underneath the Trump administration. Why? Because we need a backup for Air Force One. Because right now, the President of the United States is flying around on a 40-year-old plane, and there is no backup for it. The backup we had, the airframe started having structural issues. No one's discussing that part. They're just discussing that the deal ended with President Trump. Maybe the media doesn't know. Maybe I'll give them a pass. Maybe you didn't know. I'll give you the pass. I'll give you a pass on that one. But the fact is, this conversation started with Qatar, with Biden a year ago. So
and say, whoa, 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 whoa. But of course, you guys know that Jake Tapper is trying to regain credibility after we all know that he was part of the cover up, given Biden's mental decline. Absolutely crazy. Oh, yeah. Just real quick, too, more quick news before I get to these Middle Eastern stories, these success stories in the Middle East. Again, Trump coming off of what is a historic week and, frankly, one of the best weeks in Middle Eastern foreign policy, I think, for the United States of America. I believe it'll go down. Now, obviously, Trump will be in office for 4 years. We need somebody to continue up on these type of policies, whether that's a J.D. Vance, whether that's a Ron DeSantis. There will be a primary, I'm sure. Hopefully there's not a coronation. I don't like coronations, no matter who it is. I like to see iron. I believe strongly in iron sharpens iron. But that was fascinating. But one of the things that I want to start with Syria, because I believe Syria is one of the most fascinating stories. And I'll tell you why. Now, guys, I realize the guy in Syria is not a nice guy. He's not a great guy. All right. But there's something that Trump said, and I wish I had the video for you. But basically, Trump said earlier in the week, he's not there. And I'm paraphrasing. He didn't travel to the Middle East to try to judge them per se. All right. He's there to bring economic prosperity to the United States of America, as well as security. He wants to do the same for them as far as their countries. Their countries are sovereign, just like the United States is, just like the United States is sovereign. And so their countries are their countries. Our countries are our country is our country. But where we can work together, where we can come together economically. All right. And also for the sake of national security, this is crucial. So, again, Trump is basically finishing what he started during his first term, and that is ushering in an opportunity for peace inside of the Middle East. All right. So Trump, remember, this was on Wednesday during his trip to Saudi Arabia. Trump first met with President Ahmad al-Shara, who from 2017, listen to this, had to PJ Media, from 2017 until January of this year, was known as Abu Muhammad, I can't even pronounce it, al-Julan. Al-Shara was the leader of the Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, or what they call HTS, the Syrian Liberation Group. That's a Sunni jihad group that had been linked to al-Qaeda and was working to overthrow Bashar al-Assad. And of course, that happened. We all know in January that is exactly what happened. Now, this guy, al-Juni, took control in Damascus, announced that he was the one going to be establishing a regime that will respect the rights of all Syrians. Okay. But something happened there. He insisted that he had broken with al-Qaeda at the time. And he had done so years before. Now, here's a major problem. His forces were involved in mass killings of members of the Alawite sect. So things were getting out of control, absolutely big time. All right. And you have to give credit to Israel, because Israel had taken down Hezbollah. They were taking down Hamas. I mean, the instability in that region allowed for Bashar al-Assad, basically for these guys to topple Bashar al-Assad. Bashar al-Assad, escapes to Russia. But this guy that takes over, again, kills a lot of people in the Alawite sect. Since Bashar al-Assad was an Alawite, this sect was associated, obviously, with his regime. So on March 7th, you have the Israeli defense minister, Israel Katz, declared that al-Shara, which is the new president of Syria, said, quote, that he was behind it. Al-Jilani took off his galabia, I don't know what that is, put on a suit, and presented a moderate facade. Now he has removed the mask, revealing his true face. A jihadist terrorist from al-Qaeda, Israel Katz said, the al-Qaeda school committing atrocities against the Alawite civilian population. So this sounds damning. This sounds crazy. This is a big, big risk. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. But let me say this. Guys, do you remember Libya? Do you remember Iraq? Sometimes sometimes, and this is hard for those of us that are in the United States, those of us that are in the West, and particularly, I believe, those of us that are spiritual, those of us that are Christian, to understand this, because we look at everything in the spiritual realm. And I think, frankly, it's smart to do so. But also, God has put us on this earth, so we have to look at things practically too. So here's what you got to understand. Do you remember the destabilization that occurred in Libya as a result of Muammar Gaddafi, I believe it was, when they wiped him out? And basically that became a breeding ground for ISIS. And you had Hillary Clinton and you had the Obama administration celebrating. You look at Iraq, 2020 hindsight, I think it perhaps would have been better to keep Saddam Hussein in place. And that way you wouldn't have had all the turmoil, all the chaos with the Sunnis, with the Shiites, with the ISIS, with Al-Qaeda, Al-Nusra Front, or Al-Nusra Front, whatever they're called, all of these insane groups. So that was a bunch of destabilization. Trump is trying to create stabilization in that region of the world. And I'll explain why that's important. You're listening to the Carl Jackson Show. Hey guys, Carl Jackson here for MyPillow. And MyPillow is excited to announce that they are extending the mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. This is your chance to grab incredible deals on some of MyPillow's most popular and newly released items. For example, save $40 on the new spring MyPillow bed sheets that are available in any size and color. These luxurious sheets are designed for maximum comfort and breathability. They are perfect for a great night's sleep, especially during this hot summer or hot spring and summer. Looking for a meaningful gift? You can save 30% on the brand new Mike Crosses. You guys may have seen the one that Mike Lindell has been wearing now for 20 years. These beautifully crafted crosses come in both men's and women's designs and are proudly made in the USA. So get the 6-piece bath or kitchen towel sets for just $39.98. Initial quantities are limited, so please order now. And don't forget, the best-selling MyPillow is available for just $17.98. That's right, just $17.98. Orders over $75 ship for free. All right, so go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code Carl, that is CARL, or call 800-858-0263 to order now. Again, MyPillow.com, promo code Carl, or call 800-858-0263 to order now. All right, welcome back to the Carl Jackson Show. Again, your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. And obviously, we still have that Biden story, the cover-up that is a major story. Guys, let me just say this, and I posted this on X earlier this week. Please follow me on all things social media, X, Instagram, and Facebook, at Carl Jackson Show, at The Carl Jackson Show. Joe Biden is the patient. Joe Biden was the patient. There were a bunch of crumb snatchers that were around him, desperate for fame, fortune, whatever it may have been, power inside of D.C. That were positioning themselves. And I don't blame Joe Biden one iota. He was the dementia patient. You have the propagandist. I'm sorry, Jake Tapper. Some people are trying to excuse Jake Tapper. Well, Jake Tapper did do, a little something. He did a little something in CNN to try to bring attention. No, he didn't. He went after Laura Trump, basically saying, oh, are you a doctor? No, you don't have to be a doctor. I mean, a doctor to know that a person obviously is declining mentally. It's obvious, whether physically and mentally, quite frankly. All right. All you need are your eyes and a bit of common sense. We've all had family members that have suffered with either dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's to some degree. If you haven't, you will. And it's very obvious. So for somebody like a Jake Tapper to go out there and try to make money off of covering up for the Biden administration for years is absolutely just sick and despicable. I hope that book does not sell. Quite frankly. All right, just more in the news because I'm not going to have time to get to it in this particular program. But Rubio says Trump and Putin meeting is the only way to end the war in Ukraine. Putin did not meet up with Zelensky in Turkey like was expected. This is bad for I think this is bad for Putin, quite frankly. And honestly, everything that we're witnessing happen in the Middle East is bad for Russia. It's bad for Iran. It is bad for China. And this is why, even though everybody is kind of, and I know, guys, this is a big risk. And I had to think about this myself, right? Just because Trump does something, just because I'm a conservative, just because I'm a Republican, I'm not necessarily a cheerleader. But I do believe that this presidency is so consequential. This guy is so bold. This guy is thinking outside of the box. I just wish we had a Congress that would do the same thing and had the backbone of steel. But I sat there and I thought about this. And at first I was like, I don't know. Syria, do you really? I mean, this guy was a jihadist. This guy was Al Qaeda. This guy has murdered. But there's no telling the evil that this guy has committed. And then I had to think. I don't expect non-believers, or I'm a Christian, to act like believers. Now, I hope these people get saved. I hope these people get to know Jesus. But right now, just on a political level, I think this is brilliant. What you don't want to see happen in the Middle East, we've got our best friends out there, our allies, Israel. What we don't want to see is China, Russia, Iran encroach in the Middle East, especially China. We don't want them to be emboldened. We don't want Russia to be emboldened there and strike deals. You have the Biden administration that gave the prince of Saudi Arabia a fist bump. Trump was quoted earlier. He was on Air Force One, I believe, traveling inside of Air Force One. And he was like, "Hey, I gave them love. I gave them love." Gave them love and gave them a respect. And what he's gotten out of the deal is absolutely amazing. So you don't want another Libya. You don't want another Iraq. You don't want a hotbed for terrorism. So this guy, al-Shara, has condemned the killings. He has vowed to punish those responsible, even if they were his own men. And this is what he had to say. Quote, Syria is a state of law. The law will take its course on all. We fought to defend the oppressed, and we won't accept that any blood be shed unjustly or goes without punishment or accountability, even among those closest to us. Okay, so that's scary because those people out there mean it, and they kill people. It's scary. I hate what happened to the Alawite sect. I hate what was happening to Christians out there. But what Trump is trying to do is trying to reel all of these guys into the Abraham Accord. And if they're willed into this or rolled into this Abraham Accord, he's demanding that these guys play nice with Israel, do business with Israel, do business with us. This is risky, but it's worth it. The question is this guy al-Shara just a lying jihadist? Well, Trump is going to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's going to give him the chance to put up or shut up, essentially. What Trump is doing is bucking the DC status quo when it comes to foreign policy in the Middle East, using common interests. Those common interests are economics and prosperity. Economics and prosperity. Think about this. Now, the United States of America is moving away from obviously purchasing oil in other places. We're drilling inside of the United States of America. We already see the prices of the barrels of oil, gas that have gone down, that have gone down tremendously, about half, I believe, at this point in time. It's getting lower and lower at the pump. We're going to see changes sooner than later. Even lower prices at the pump. But this is about national security as well. You give these people some economic security. You give these people some props. And you say, guys, will you keep down the terrorists in your neighborhood? Will you keep down the ISIS? Will you keep down the Al-Qaeda? Will you squash them? This isn't any different than what he did in his first administration with Kim Jong-un. So Trump is willing to normalize relations with Syria for some concessions, and there are some concessions. Here's what Trump announced to NBC News. He said, we are currently exploring normalizing relations with Syria's new government, as you know, beginning with my meeting with President Ahmed al-Shara. All right, I'm going to butcher that, so just forgive me. Yet he is not proceeding without asking certain things of al-Shara. All right, so he encouraged Syrian President Ahmed al-Shara to recognize Israel's statehood. One, he also advised Shara to tell foreign terrorists to leave Syria, deport Palestinian terrorists, help the U.S. prevent the resurgence of the Islamic State, and assume responsibility for Islamic State detention centers in Syria's northeast. Trump also declared that he wanted to give Syria, quote, a chance of greatness. I think this is brilliant. The more I think about it, I just think this is brilliant. All right, this isn't going to be easy. A reminder of how difficult this will be came in the fact that, as NBC noted, Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman was also present, and Turkish President Recep Erdogan joined by phone. And so the presence of Erdogan on the phone was a reminder that al-Shura has been propped up by Turkish forces. If this guy wants an opportunity to be a legitimate, and he'll probably be a dictator, guys, let's be honest. All right. He's going to want to cozy up to Trump. It's as simple as that. And let me just give you some more news. Okay, so this his trip to Qatar. We'll go to Saudi Arabia after this. I want to just go through some of the numbers, but he was treated like a king there. They absolutely loved him there. All right. So Trump secured $2 trillion in deals for U.S. companies, including more than $1.2 trillion in economic investment by Qatar. And I heard that number jumped. That could be wrong, to $1.4 trillion. Trump also advanced his approach to bolstering U.S. interest in the region through transactional business deals, just like I mentioned before, basically doing away with his predecessor's strategy, securing peace through diplomacy. Trump wasn't having that. All right, Trump. Here's a quote from Trump. Everyone wants to come and witness what is happening right here. As president, I'm proud that our growing friendship has brought us into a full-fledged economic and security partnership, as we've seen clearly on this trip. We're setting records on this trip. We're bringing a lot of investment back into the United States. You had Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani said that his nation, the Emir of Qatar, said that his nation and the U.S. were, quote, economically joined at the head, close quote, because of Mr. Trump's persistence incentivizing to ensure regional stability. So Trump wants some regional stability. Trump says we're a powerful agent for peace precisely because of our size. He said there's so much that the United States and Qatar share, building on our existing economy ties. Our newly announced projects and investment will amount to $1.2 trillion. So remember, Trump had the $600 billion deal with Saudi Arabia just the day before. And I'm not sure how much of that was committed on the front end. And hopefully a lot of that was committed on the front end, because obviously if Trump leaves in 4 years, I'm not sure how much of this will get done. But for now, this is a great step forward for peace inside of the Middle East. The White House also said the agreement will support 154,000 jobs annually, could total more than 1 million jobs in the U.S. Why? Because the centerpiece of Wednesday's deal with Qatar was with Qatar Airways agreement to pay $96 billion for 210 American-made Boeing 787 and 77X jets. Now, Boeing better get their act together. They haven't been able to put forth, deals with Air Force One or get those things done, but hopefully they'll get this done. In the UAE, as a matter of fact, in the UAE as well, Trump has wrapped up a deal, if I'm not mistaken, where is it at? For F-16 fighters. Guys, this is a national security matter. Trump is literally pushing China, Russia, and Iran out of the region. He's doing economic diplomacy, if you will. They want peace. They want economic prosperity. So do we in the United States. Good job, Trump.